It may look like just a pile of logs, but Terri Loftin sees a business opportunity in the fungus growing inside.
I'm just looking to see if any of them are fruiting. After the rain we just had, a lot of times they'll start producing mushrooms.
We're talking shiitake.
Ooh, cook them and eat them. Put them on steak, put them in stuff, make mushroom soup. I mean, just...
Lots of uses.
Yeah. People that love mushrooms find a lot of good ways of using mushrooms.
When Eastern Shore residents have questions about plants, they ask Loftin, who owns Fairhope's The Plant Fairie.
So I can take a cutting of anything, and I'll stick the stem and the root hormone and stick it in wet dirt. Keep it moist and in the shade, and that'll root in no time, depending on what it is.
Plants have been a part of Loftin's life for decades.
The plant right over there, you can rub that on you and it keeps mosquitoes away as good as DEET.
Beautyberry?
Beautyberry.
She graduated with a horticulture degree from Auburn in 1993. 5 years later, she opened the Plant Fairie in Barnwell. She reopened the business at its current location 7 years ago. Some visitors even fly in to check out her place. The idea to grow mushrooms came as a suggestion from a retired horticulture teacher Loftin knows. After attending a seminar on ways to grow them, she decides to give mushrooms a shot. The main tool of her trade? A grinder with drill bit.
And I just space out holes, and it's really fast.
You started this in the spring. What have the
Yes.
results been like?
Yes. Well, I inoculated some logs. That's how they showed us to do that in the class that I took over to that seminar. And so it takes 6 months for those logs to produce. And so they're just now fruiting. So I'm finally seeing that it really works and it really is easy.
Loftin buys mushroom spores grown on millet in Petri dishes. The spores are placed in plastic bags with dowels.
So the white is the fungus growing. So these are ready to insert in these holes. And it's that easy. So I'm infecting the log. And then I just wait. And when they take over the log, they will produce mushrooms.
Terri Loftin can teach you a lot about growing mushrooms. For example, you don't need a large field to begin. Some people grow them in their apartments, and you don't need a lot of expensive equipment. Right here is the start you need.
You can see the plugs, the dowels that I stuck in this log for it to feed on the log. And once it starts growing, because it's eating the log, it'll produce mushrooms. And the mushrooms will not necessarily come out of these plugs. They'll come out anywhere.
And if you want to grow your own, Loftin will sell you the logs. What do you want people to know about mushrooms?
I think everybody is afraid of mushrooms because they don't know a lot about them. But they're delicious and they buy them from the stores and they're expensive. And if they knew how easy it is to grow your own and not to be afraid of growing your own and picking and eating, there's no reason to spend so much money, and you would probably benefit from doing it yourself.
While Loftin's mushroom operation moves forward, fungal interest grows elsewhere. On Nichols Avenue, construction continues on the Hope Farm, billed as a hydroponic farm with wine bar and gardens.
Thank you. Bye.
What happens if this takes off, business-wise?
Well, that would be really exciting because I could inoculate these logs all day long and pick the mushrooms all day long. And that's not work to me. And then, I don't have to, they don't require a lot of maintenance. I can just leave them in the shade with a sprinkler, and I can go ride a motorcycle or something, go sailing.
So what I'm trying to figure out is I'm talking to the plant fairy. Could I be talking to the future mushroom fairy of the Eastern Shore?
I think so. I think so. This is a lot easier, and if it takes off, that would be great. I would love it to take off.
With hopes for growing fungus among us, Loftin is optimistic her latest venture will mushroom. David Black, Fairhope Now.